Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to Torah with your host, Rabbi Anibal. Great to see so many of you, nice and early, beginning of the class. So let me welcome. Hello, Ashira. Great that you had a time to connect. It's been a while. How are you doing, by the way? And welcome, Amparo. Welcome, Brenda, Janet, Shelly, of course, David, Lori. Lori, you were the first one today. And welcome, everyone. If there is anybody else there, please say hi. Please say hi if you haven't done so. As we are going to have an opportunity to study the weekly Parsha. Vayishlach is the Parsha for this week. We continue studying about the story of our father Jacob and his wives and children. And remember, when we are talking about the people of Israel, by saying the people of Israel, is like saying the people of Jacob, because remember, Jacob's name was eventually changed to Israel. So we are all, when we say we are children of Israel, we are children of Jacob. So studying the story of Jacob is extremely important, because it's he was the last of our patriarchs, and is the one that gave the name to our people. We are the people of Israel, the children of Israel. And so the life of Jacob encapsulates a lot about the essence of the Jewish people. Let's put it that way. Even if you study Kabbalah, I don't want to get into that. That I'm not an expert, but I want to mention something, that if you study Kabbalah, just at the very beginning, you're going to study about the tree of life. And the tree of life basically has lots of sephirot, the circles that but basically has three columns, the right, the left, and the center. The right represents mercy, giving, expansion. The left is the side of justice, of limits, etc. Right? And the Kabbalah says that the right represents Abraham, the left represents Isaac, but the center that fits from both, right? The mercy and the justice, that is Jacob, is the one that combines everything, that puts it all together. That is eventually what we want, right? It's the one who finds balance. The one who finds balance. Yeah. Let's see who else is here. Lori, you said give thanks that it's finally sweater weather here in Texas. Okay. Here is more than sweater. In Winnipeg is more like heavy parka. But yeah, Welcome, Erin. Erin Kleiman is here. Welcome to the class. Brenda, lots of layers. Yeah, chilly. Okay. And Erin is 3 pillars of Chabad. Ooh, what are the 3 pillars of Chabad? I don't know about the ones from Chabad, but I know that the Mishnah talks about things that comes in groups of 3: Torah, Avodah, Gmilut Chasadim. Right? It's because the concept of the 3 is 3 legs is the minimum you need for something to find stability. In fact, it's the most stable of the solutions. If you think, for example, in a photographer, the photographers don't use something with 4 legs. They use the tripod that has 3 legs, because you find it's a very better grounding. If you have 4, if one is longer than the other, they start shaking. Think about how many times we go to a restaurant and something, you take a table and the table moves because it has 4 legs. If you have 3 legs, it's easier to balance, but not yet. Ariel Lee is here. Welcome to the class. You're not late, Ariel. Come on. You're not late. We are just talking about a little bit about the life of Jacob. And of course, I forgot. Coffee. Another double espresso for me. And if you are drinking coffee or hot chocolate, tea, let me know. I always like to know what you guys like. To me, it's double espresso, just black, no sugar, no anything. Absolutely delicious. So, we are going to study today about the life of Jacob, the parsha for this week. Oh, Ariel, you still have to get your tea. Okay, take your time, go get your tea. Today we are going to study the parsha that is Vayishlach. Why it's called Vayishlach? The parsha starts saying that Jacob sent, Vayishlach, he sent messengers to his brother Esau, because this is the time when Jacob is finally coming back home, and he knew that Esau will be waiting for him. Was he angry? Did Esau forget about all the issues that they had in the past? We don't know. Back in the day, they didn't have instant communication the way we have it now, right? So, yeah. Josue Rivera, welcome. It's been a while since I've seen your name in the chat and the class, so we are happy that you were able to join us. Welcome back. So, going back to Jacob, he didn't know. He didn't have instant communication, so in this parsha, he will take a few, how can I say it? He will plan ahead with different possible scenarios, and he will try to do his best for each one of these scenarios, and he was aware that worst case scenario, he had faith in God, God will have his back. A lot of that is also expressed in this parsha. Of course, you can imagine we can't cover every single aspect in this class, but I highly recommend you to study this parsha. It's very important because, as I mentioned before, it's we are going to find a lot of things related to Jacob that eventually became part of the Jewish people when we consider ourselves the children of Jacob, the children of Israel. Okay, a few things we're going to see today, but there are many things more. The other thing, and again, it's going to be a great treat for the congregation. Actually, the large congregation, they don't know about this, but because you're coming to Torah L'chaim, I will give you the preview. Okay? You will have, it's funny because I follow many content creators on YouTube and on Facebook, and for people who they have different tiers of membership. You have the free membership, like just subscribe to the channel, get free membership. But some people pay, and people who pays, they have access to what the content creators call exclusive material. Right? So I will give you a little bit of exclusive material to you because you're part of Torah L'chaim. And the service this coming Saturday is going to start with a beautiful song composed by Jonathan Razel. It's called Katonti. And it's coming from this week's Parsha. The words are from this week's Parsha, and it's the most absolutely beautiful song. And Chazan Leslie is going to sing it at the beginning of the service. So, believe me, don't miss it. It's going to be beautiful. I recorded it during COVID, this song. If we have time during the class, maybe I should play it. I should play it for you, my rendition of Katonti. But for now, let's study about the Parsha. Let's do it. Okay? So, Jacob started to journey towards Canaan, back home, where Esau was waiting for him. And as I mentioned before, a lot of uncertainty about what is going to happen, how the encounter is going to be. Okay, so let me read for you what happened. It says, Jacob went on his way, and angels of God encountered him. When he saw them, Jacob said, "This is Hashem's camp." So he named that place Mahanaim. Jacob sent messengers ahead to his brother Esau in the land of Seir, the country of Edom. This is very interesting because this week's Parsha will mention a lot the concept of Malachim. Malachim is a Hebrew word, usually translated as angels. But malachim also means messengers. You see, it's interesting because when you read malachim in the Torah, it's difficult to know when it's talking about messenger, like you send a person to communicate a message, and when the Torah is talking about the angels of God. In this case, for example, it's a little bit easier because it says, Malachei Elohim, the angels of God. Okay? But then it also says that Jacob sent, Vayishlach Yaakov Malachim. Now, are we talking about the same angels, or now they are messengers that he sent? Can you send an angel, or you can only send messengers? It's not clear. So I wanted to expand a little bit of this in this class. Meanwhile, let me know in the chat, what is your idea of angels? What is your experience maybe with angels? But especially, what is your idea? What do you think about angels? What do you think Judaism has to say about angels? I'm curious. Let me know down in the chat. I want to read it as I continue with the next text. Okay? So, Rashi actually says that Jacob sent actual angels. You know what I mean? Without the words of Rashi, I would think that Jacob sent regular messengers, like a guy on a horse, on a camel. Go ahead in front of me and send this message to my brother, right? Janet, you say here, angels are messengers, okay? So this is what Rashi says. But let's expand this concept a little bit more, okay? Listen to this. According to Jewish tradition, an angel is a spiritual being and does not have any physical characteristics. The angelic descriptions provided by the prophets, such as wings, arms, etc., are anthropomorphic, referring to their spiritual abilities and tasks, which is very interesting. I want to take a break to read the chat, and then I want to expand a little bit more about what Rabbi Baruch Davidson is saying here. Lori, you said, I worry about the angels covered with eyes. All the evil in the world they have to watch but can't prevent. Oh, okay, I understand. Yeah, because one of the things that we study in previous classes is that one way or another, whatever you say about the angels, there is one thing that is very clear, and is the angels don't have free will. We can decide what we do. Angels cannot. Angels were created with one specific task, and they cannot avoid it, refuse it, etc. Okay? Brenda, you said, I believe in angels. There have been so many situations in my life where I believe angels have spread their wings. My mother, without doubt, is my angels. Beautiful. Beautiful. So it's interesting, Brenda, because that what you are saying here is that we can imagine now Rashi's words, why or how we can experience in our life angels that they are basically people. In fact, a little bit of this was explained when we studied the life of Abraham. Remember the 3 visitors that came to inform him that he was going to be a daddy? He and Sarah are going to have a baby. And the angels, these 3 individuals, later on, we learned that they were angels. But we also see that the Parsha says that they had a meal with Abraham. So how is that possible? How is that possible? Lori said, but if you believe in angels, don't you believe in demons? Well, the Talmud talks about demons, but the Torah does not. But the Torah does talk about angels. Okay? It's demonic beings seems to be like a completely different, how you say it, different category. And they don't have the power that the angels will have. Angels are from God, and demons are sometimes, when you study Kabbalah, and think, are more a concept than a thing. Angels are defined with much more detail as a thing. Oh, yes, Felix and Lori, and then you have the ghost. But that is a different thing. That is a totally different thing, because then we have to, to explore what it is, the spiritual realm, and if there is any kind of gate of ways of communication between the physical and spiritual realm. But that is a different thing. Now, the angels are, as described in the Torah, beings that they are clearly present in this realm, and many times they take human form. Ariel Lee, you said, and Erin, you said, they appear as men to Abraham. Yes, correct. They appear to them as people. So, and Abraham, who was, we know by now, extremely spiritual, and he had a direct line of communication with God, he didn't realize at the beginning that he had angels in front of him. Sarah, for sure, she didn't recognize them as angels. How do we know that? Because when the angel said to Sarah, "You're going to have a baby," she laughed. And she would have never laughed had she known that those people were actually angels from God. So this is also telling us something that is that almost, I would say, they have a practical application, that we have to be very careful how we talk to people. Not only because people deserve respect, but also you never know if you have an angel in front of you. That's why God gets upset when Sarah laughed, asking, "Why are you laughing?" Right? Because you never know. You never know. Ariel said, "Are angels original shapeshifters? They take one form we can understand. We don't know." Judah said, "We believe in heaven, and that is where angels reside." My feeling. Yeah. Angels reside in heaven. Well, they are, if you have to fast forward to the Zohar, we have almost like a catalog of angels, and they will say that there are different levels, and there are angels that is always the same angels appear in every single situation. Like Raphael, for example, the angel of healing, you will be a different category, and it's always the same one going from one place to another. But there were others that they are casual angels. Because if you believe that the angel is something that with no free will doing exactly the will of God, if God, think about this for a minute. If God takes a person and somehow removes the free will of a person to do only God's will without any possibility to change it, well, that starts getting awfully closer to the concept of being an angel, right? Because that is one theory. The once in a while, you could be an angel. God removes your free will, so you're going to do something on behalf of God, probably, maybe you without even realizing it. And at that time, you become an angel to somebody else. And then your free will comes back and you are not an angel anymore. So it's very interesting. So let's continue with our text. Let's go to Maimonides now. Maimonides, always bringing a rational approach, is going to expand on this. And he will say, all angels fall under one of 10 ranks. You see, I was reading your text, your chat, the chat here, your messages, and you have kind of different impressions, different idea of angels. So, but then you realize that maybe you're all right, because the Maimonides will say, don't think that you're disagreeing with each other. What happened is there are actually 10 different kind of angels that they manifest in a different way, and they represent different things, and they operate under different conditions. So listen to this. All angels fall under one of 10 ranks, namely Chayot HaKodesh, Ofanim, Elim, Hashmalim, Seraphim, Malachim, Elohim, Bnei Elohim, and Cherubim, and Ishim. Okay? These ranks refer to the degree of the angel's comprehension of God. Some have a greater understanding of God and God's ways than others, which is very, very interesting. Aaron, you said angels versus seraphim. Well, seraphim are just one category of the angels. The same of the cherubim, right? Those are supposed to be the one baby-faced that the Torah describes that they were part of the Ark of the Covenant, and so they're different categories. Different categories. You have the archangels and all things. Again, I'm not an expert on angelic beings, but what I do know is that many times our misconception of angels, of why one person believed one thing, the other person believed the other thing, is because we are talking about 2, 3, 4, up to 10 different kind of angels, and that's why sometimes we have the confusions. Okay? Aaron, you say, which type were with the people Bamidgard? What is that? Bamidgard? Please, Aaron, let me know what you're trying to say there. I don't think I understand it. Okay? So, yeah, that's why sometimes we have different understandings. Let's continue. Now, for example, the Zohar will say, one of the angel's tasks is to transport our words of prayer and Torah study before God's throne. So, you see, this is, for example, one category. So, when we pray to God, the Zohar will understand that those words are picked up by an angel that can do nothing but taking our words and present it to God and to advocate to God on our behalf. That's why, this is one belief of the concept of prayer. That's why there are prayers that understand the angels as intermediary between us and God, which is very interesting and not so monotheistic as perhaps we thought it was, but it do exist. There is a famous song, you can search for it, and in fact I recorded it too. There is a famous song by the Israeli singer Chaim Israel. His name is Chaim Israel, and the song is called Shirat HaMalachim, the Song of the Angels, and he starts by saying, Malachim Akdoshim. So he's singing to the holy angels, and is in the song, the singer is asking the angels to bring a message to God. It sounds very close to what sometimes we see in the Catholic tradition of praying, for example, to saints to intercede or to serve as an intermediary before people and God. So in Judaism, we have some traditions to ask the angels to be the one to bring our pleas to God. I don't know if you saw that. Aaron, going back, which type were the angels with the people in the desert? There were many different angels, and in fact, let me give you an example of different angels, because we always imagine angels as, these cute beings. And to be honest, I don't know why. I don't know, honestly. And I want you all, if you can take a minute, let me know in the chat, why do you think that we imagine angels as cute beings, always smiling, always helping? Where is that coming from? Let me know in the chat, and then I will tell you what I think about this. Cheers. Lori, you said the song Neshamale. Which one is that? The one that says, "Come with me, little neshamale." That one. There is there is a beautiful song composed by Abby Rottenberg that is talking about that, about an angel bringing the soul into the body and teaching the whole Torah and everything. Remember, there is an old midrash teaching that before we are born, there is an angel teaching us the whole Torah. So, but that's the mission of that angel, to teach us Torah. And then when we are born, and say that the angels put a finger on our lip. That's why we have this, this thing in our lip. So the angels touches our lip, and then we forget the whole Torah. And then when we study Torah, we are not really learning anything new. We are bringing it back to our memory, because the Torah that the angels taught us is already inside ourselves, except that we cannot tap into that. Okay, it's a very interesting concept. So the rabbis explained that's why we feel so much joy when we study Torah. It's the same joy we feel when we find something that we thought it was lost. That's the joy of our neshama, our soul, when we unlock the access to that knowledge. So when you study Torah, you're connecting your neshama with the knowledge that it was already inside. So every time you study something new, what you're doing is remembering something you already knew. So, Shelley Chochinov, you said, the reason is centuries of paintings depicting various Christian motifs and, of course, Hollywood. Absolutely. I will put it here. That is why we imagine angels the way we do. Because if you go to the Torah, angels are pretty scary beings. For example, many times angels are described as holding a sword, or a sword with fire, like the angel protecting the Garden of Eden, for example. It's pretty scary stuff. But in other cases, and this is perhaps one of the most important missions that the angels have, almost like the common denominators of angel missions, is the angel is sent to open our eyes. Our eyes are the subject of the angel interaction, eyes. What do I mean? The typical example for me is when Abraham sent away to his wife Agar and his son Ishmael. Remember that? Sarah didn't want it at home, so said, kick them out, and Abraham kicked them out. And Hagar and Ishmael, they left the house. And they were about to die, and it said an angel appeared to Hagar. And then there was this miraculous appearance of a well with water. But it wasn't so miraculous. If you go read the Torah, it says that the angel appeared, and the angel opened her eyes, and she saw the water. So sometimes the angels are being sent to us to remove the final blockage for us to realize something, to open our eyes. It's not that the angel is creating anything new. It's just guiding us towards something that we're supposed to see. So that is one of the main reasons we have angels around. Okay? So, the angel that appeared in front of Bilam, when Bilam was coming to curse the people of Israel, and what the angel did is to open Bilam's eye to realize his mistakes, and so forth. The angel who came to visit Abraham opened his eyes to realize that, his anxiety for not having a baby with Sarah, it was all wrong, that he was going to be a father because God already promised that. So the angel comes to remind Abraham and Sarah about the promise. So the angel didn't do anything new. He was just there to open their eyes. But most of the time, that's what the angels do. And again, we can imagine the angels are super nice and cute beings, but at the end of the day, the Torah almost everywhere describe them as very scary beings, like the one who destroyed Sodom, for example. Yeah, I imagine that it was like a pretty scary angel, that one. Okay, or the one that in this week's parsha fought with Jacob all night. You probably remember there are paintings of that too, of Jacob wrestling with an angel. And then eventually there was a fight that lasted all night. And at the end of the night, the angel said, the angel, they couldn't beat each other. So the angel injured Jacob on the side of his leg. So pretty scary being. But again, at the end, the angel said to Jacob, your name now is going to be Israel. So in other words, Jacob by now should have known that his mission changed, that he's not the old Jacob anymore. All the experiences in Laban's house changed him, but I guess he didn't fully figure that out. So now we see that the angel came to help Jacob to discover who he really is and everything that he has to contribute to his family and to the world in general. So, yeah. Ariel Lee, you said, I always think of angels as being made of pure light. Okay. But you see, the Torah is, the way the Torah describes the angels it was way beyond light. Way beyond light. Let's continue here with the angels. Now, more about angels. Listen what Pirkei Avot, this is part of the Mishnah, says about angels. He who fulfills one mitzvah acquires for himself one angel advocate. He who commits one transgression acquires against himself one angel accuser. And what does it mean? These are formed from the intellectual and emotional energy which one invests in the performance of a mitzvah, the study of Torah, or in prayer, or conversely, energy applied in the execution of a sin. So this is another way of understanding what an angel is. Okay? This is the other thing. That I don't know if you ever realized that every action has a reaction, angel or no angel. When you do something, even if you don't realize that, you are starting a chain reaction. Where that is going to go, we don't know. We don't know. But we do know is that one good thing that we do usually carries another good thing. And the recipient of that good thing continues their lives, but creating other things. But we believe that every good thing we do will continue being present in this world through the recipients of that goodness. The same could be said about the bad things we do. So you can see here that by understanding these words of Mishnah this way, then we can understand that sometimes when the concept of angels could be something material, like a person or a being, but could also be an energy, that we call that energy an angel, but without being a physical angel. So that is another way of understanding this. But yeah, you see how even the Mishnah is aware of the concept of the angels and the way it could be understood in many different ways. And yeah, what do you think about? Let me know in the chat. What do you think about this concept, right, of one good thing creating another good thing and one bad thing creating another bad thing? Because this is huge in the way that we should think about our lives, and having an opportunity to do something good or something bad, how is never one thing good or one thing bad, because as I mentioned, every action will have a reaction, a good one or a bad one. Yeah. Ariel Lee, you suggest select the energy concept. That is what I mean by light energy. Yeah, light. Sometimes we forget about this, how light, you can have a place that is completely dark. And then light will allow you to see. Even a little bit of light will dissipate the darkness. When you can see, when the light becomes present, now you can see the obstacles. Now you can see what to avoid. And then again, you can understand how understanding angels as light continues with the concept of the angels as a being that opens your eyes, because it's the same thing. If you close your eyes, you can see what is in front of you, and you will have trouble avoiding obstacles. If you can open your eyes, you can see the obstacles, you can avoid them. If everything is the same, if everything is dark, if you have no light whatsoever, and then the angels also, think the angels, the light comes into the picture, now you can see what is in front of you, and which path you should take becomes more clear. Right? Brenda, you said, it's interesting that when you do something nice for another person, we are thanked and referred to as an angel. Okay, interesting. When they said, yeah, oh, you're an angel. Yeah. Physics, energy, the 5 stages of thermodynamics cover all 4 fronts. Oh, Shelley, you and your science. But I love it. Janet, you say balance of good and bad. Yeah, you see, this is interesting. Because in Judaism, I don't think we don't look for a balance. And some people think that life should be about give and take, but we believe that life should be about give and give. That is the secret. That's what Abraham was. Abraham was all about giving without expecting any kind of retribution. So I guess the balance is a good beginning, but we are always aimed to a higher level, which is doing good and became light to others without expecting any kind of retribution. And that's why, for example, the highest level of kindness that you can do in this world is what you do in a funeral. When you put earth on top of a coffin. In Judaism, that is the highest level of kindness, because you are doing an act of kindness to someone, the person who died, who cannot repay you in any way or form. So that kind of incentive should be our guide every day of our lives, when we do things without expecting anything as a retribution. The same way that when we do something for someone who passed away, it's called the highest level of kindness. That's why it's called Chesed Shel Emet, or true kindness. And that's why all around the world, in the Jewish world, funeral homes are usually called Chesed Shel Emet, or Chesed Shel Emes, here in Winnipeg, for example, because they represent that kind of kindness. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's continue. Now, let's go to the other angel that we read in the Torah. Remember, I told you, the one that was wrestling with Jacob all night. I guess jiu-jitsu already existed back in the day. That's what they were doing, right? They were grappling. They were grapplers. Yeah, they didn't know how to strike, so they grappled. This is what it says. Back to the Parsha. Then he said, he is the angel. Let me go, for dawn is breaking. But he answered, I will not let you go unless you bless me. Said the other, what is your name? He replied, Jacob. Said he, your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have striven with beings divine and human and have prevailed. Jacob asked, pray tell me your name. But he said, you must not ask my name, and he took leave of him there. Oh, so many juicy things on these verses. This is very interesting, right? Again, you see how they were fighting all night. All night. And again, can you see again the concept of light and darkness? And how, while darkness surrounded Jacob, clearly, all the night, while darkness surrounded Jacob, when he couldn't see clearly, he was still fighting. You see, sometimes that's what happens when we cannot see clearly. And we fight. And you don't even know what you're fighting because it's dark. So Jacob was fighting. Then eventually, at the end, light was coming, right? And the angel said, okay, let me go. Now you can see. Now you can see clearly. Let me go. Don't, I don't know if this ever happens to you, that you go through difficult situations. Everything is dark in your life. That might bring upset, you might suffer anxiety and all that. But eventually that is over. It's over now. It passed. You overcame that. That you're living a new situation when everything is better. And then I can hear the voice of the angel said, let it go. It's over. You understand things differently now. You're in a different stage. Why do you still become so fixated on what happened to you yesterday? So the angel said, let me go. You can already see the light here. Okay? And then, I think I'm going to write a sermon about this for Saturday. Because, by the way, it's my turn to preach this Saturday. So I think I love this concept. I love this concept. But because now that Jacob saw the light, Jacob could see everything more clearly. Jacob said to the angel, okay, I'll let you go, but not until you bless me. In other words, I had to endure all this darkness, which I did. And it wasn't free because remember that Jacob was injured on the side of his leg, and then he was kind of limping for the rest of his life, whatever. Physically he wasn't the same, but he made it to the other side. And Jacob said, okay, I will let you go, but not until you bless me. In other words, Jacob is asking the angel, the one who opens your eyes, the one who helps you see things. Jacob is asking him, what did I learn? What did I learn from all this experience? Bless me with that. What did I learn? I know I can see the light now, right? But did I have to go through that darkness for nothing? Is there anything that darkness taught me, that it will make me a better person for the future? And the angel answered in a very interesting way. The angel said, what's your name? This is, again, Jacob asked for a blessing, and the blessing is, what's your name? And Jacob said, Jacob. And the angel said, no, dude, you didn't learn anything. Ugh. Do I have to come here to open your eyes? Oh, I guess yes. That's why I'm an angel, right? So I said, your name is not Jacob anymore. You are Israel now. Why? Because you fought, you wrestle with the divine and with people. And you prevail. You made it to the other side. So you're not the old Jacob anymore. And that is the most beautiful blessing that he received after that experience. You're a new person, a better person. See it the way I can see it. Have you ever said that to a person? People who don't think much about themselves. Have you ever been there? People don't think much about themselves. And then you tell them, oh, dude, if you could see what I see, you will be so much happier. No, I'm this, I'm that, I cannot do this, I cannot do that, I'm not good. And they said, what are you talking about? You are this, you're this, you're this, you're this, you're this, you have all this. And then the person more likely said, really? Do you really see that on me? Yes. And when somebody tells you that, it's the biggest blessing. That's exactly what is happening here between Jacob and the angel. That is what the angel is telling him. You have to see yourself the way God sees you. God doesn't see the old Jacob anymore. God sees a brand new Israel. Which, by the way, Israel also comes from the word yashar, which means straight. Because remember, the old Jacob wasn't straight. Was a little bit of a crook. He tricked his brother twice. Then he kind of tricked Laban to leave the house. Right? So now it says, you're not that Jacob anymore. You are Israel. You're a straight person. You're a new person. Believe in yourself. Move forward. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And then it's interesting because then Jacob asked the angel, what's your name? Right? What's your name? Because the name, remember, the name tells you about the essence. But then the angel said, don't ask my name. Because, of course, the name will change. It depends on the situation. If the name tells what you do, well, there is not really a name here. Because in this case, the name will be, the one who blessed Jacob or Israel. But in another situation, will be the name will be different. So there is not really one name. Don't try. In other words, the angel is saying, don't try to box me in a name. Right? It's not like you're Israel, you have one mission. I'm an angel, I have many missions. I do whatever God asks me to do. So I go from one place to another. So don't box me in a name. So and then don't answer the name. And then he left the angel. Yeah, that's the thing. So Lori, what do you say here? I feel the angel who teaches math is neither my friend nor competent. Oh, no, but it's always this teaches us to always look at the positive on people as well, the way the angel helped Jacob to look at the good side of his life as well. Yeah. So let's continue. Listen to this. In our daily prayers, we refer to the songs of praise which the angel sings before Hashem. The angels have shifts, singing at designated times of day or night. The type of praise they sing reflects the particular angel's spiritual status. The angel singing is alluded to in the above-mentioned story of Jacob's fighting with the angel, at the end of which the angels pleaded with Jacob to free him, for the dawn has risen. So this is another explanation of the story. Why the angel had to leave at dawn, at the end of the night? Because his shift is over. Now he has to go back. Okay? Interesting. Different way of understanding the story. According to the Midrash, the angels rush because his shift to sing before God had arrived. Similarly, according to the Midrash, when Moses spent 40 days studying with God, he knew what time of the day it was based on the changing shift of the angels singing. So you can see how rich it is, the concept of angelic beings in Judaism, and how diverse it is and how multi-layered it is. So we can approach it from different sides. Let's continue. Now, going back to a more metaphoric understanding of the fight between Jacob and the angel, the Nachmanides now, this is Ramban with an N at the end. It says Jacob struggled with Esau's angel. Interesting. Nachmanides calls the angel Esau's angel. Remember, angel as messenger now. Jacob's struggle with Esau's angel represents the physical suffering of Galut, the exile of the Jewish people. When the angel of Esau injured Jacob's hip joint, he injures his righteous descendants. In the words of the Midrash, this is the generation of the Shemad, the cruel tortures inflicted by the Romans in Mishnaic times in their efforts to eradicate the faith of Israel. There were other generations in which the same and worse was done to us. We suffered all this and persevered, as alluded to by the verse, and Jacob arrived whole. Now, this is also interesting because when you understand the story of Jacob fighting the angel, as the moments also when the people of Israel have to wrestle or fight with other cultures, and even though many times we were harmed, or it was the Torah injured, if you want, there is still a message that we should never forget. And it's Jacob's request of, before I let you go, bless me. So let's go back, for example, of the times when we fought with the Greeks, we fought with the Romans, we fought with the Babylonians. We always learned as we fought from them. From them. It's not that we forgot about what happened. We learned from the experience, and we always incorporated things to Judaism from those cultures because we believe that regardless of the suffering, we always try to find what is good around, and we learn from it. We learn from it. So in every situation that we go through, regardless how difficult it is, how painful it is, how ugly it is, how bitter it is, we have to always find also the teaching. What am I learning from here? How is this situation that I know eventually I'm going to overcome, how is going to make me a better person? Not a bitter person, but a better person. And that's the challenge that Jacob had, and he prevailed. And that's the challenge that the people of Israel had in the past, and we prevailed. And that's the challenge that we have every day in life. And we must prevail by learning from the pain. We learn from the pain. We learn the lesson, and we take that to become better people. And that's what it is. That's what it is. So listen to this. Jacob asked the angel to define himself. He says, Jacob said, give me your name. Tell me your name. As I mentioned, the name defines you. Now, if we can superimpose this interpretation of understanding of this battle, namely the ongoing battle of the anti-Semites against the Jewish people, then Jacob is asking the angel of Esau, define for me the essence of anti-Semitism. What is the essence of your hatred toward the Jewish people? In that vein, the response of the angel is that there is no one definition of anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism takes on different guises, different forms, and different ways. Therefore, it is futile to tell you exactly what anti-Semitism is, because it always changes. This is so true. There's always a different excuse to attack the Jew. Oh, the Jews, they control the money. Oh, the Jews are communist. Opposite. Oh, it's not Jews, it's Israel. It's mutating all the time. That's why this metaphor of the fight being the fight between Israel and the enemies, and the angel doesn't, refusal to give a name, it makes also a lot of sense. It makes also a lot of sense. But it's also telling us, like we went through so many different situations in the past where anti-Semitism was the common denominator, but we have to say, even with that, bless me before you go, in the sense that what have we learned from that situation? Because the more we learn from the past, the more we are going to prevent the same thing to happen in the future. That's why it's so important to learn from all the things in the past. Ariel, you said, I have a book of a Ronald Isaac called Ascending Jacob's Ladder, Jewish Views on Angels, Demons, and Evil Spirit. Oh, cool. Another one, Angel Secret Stories based on Jewish legends. Yeah, I think I have a few, and I'm looking at the ones here. I wish one day I will have time to study all that, because it's fascinating. It's truly fascinating. So, yeah. Okay, everyone. So thank you a lot for tuning in. Thank you for being there. Thank you. Remember, the class is going to be rebroadcasted tonight at 8 p.m. Central. And I hope you're going to come on Saturday or tune in if you cannot do that. And you know what? I will let you go with the song based on this week's parsha I mentioned before. It's Katonti. Cantor Leslie is going to sing it this coming Saturday, but this is my recording. I did it during COVID, during the pandemic. I have more time to record things. Okay, so we'll play for you as I say goodbye. And as always say, have a wonderful rest of your day. Please be safe and hope to see you soon. Bye, everyone, and enjoy the song.
קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית את עבדך. קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית את עבדך. קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית את עבדך. קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית את עבדך. כי במקלי עברתי את הירדן, אתה איתי לשני מחנות. הצילני נא, הצילני נא, הצילני נא. במקלי עברתי את הירדן, אתה איתי לשני מחנות. הצילני נא, הצילני נא, הצילני נא. קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית את עבדך. קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית את עבדך. כי במקלי עברתי את הירדן, אתה איתי לשני מחנות. הצילני נא, הצילני נא, הצילני נא. כי במקלי עברתי את הירדן, אתה איתי לשני מחנות. הצילני נא, הצילני נא, הצילני נא. כי חסדך גדול עליי, כי חסדך במקלי עברתי את הירדן, אתה איתי לשני מחנות. הצילני נא, הצילני נא, הצילני נא. כי במקלי עברתי את הירדן, אתה איתי לשני מחנות. הצילני נא, הצילני נא, הצילני נא. קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת